Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Solana. I know it has been a little while since I put anything out, so I am thankful for you guys for being here. I am excited to be back and I have missed you guys, so I just wanted to come on quickly before the video starts because today I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different and interview a former Beachbody coach. So I've interviewed my friend Lily, who we met actually in the post Beachbody community, I guess. And we've been talking for a while, and I asked her if she wanted to come on here and kind of share her story with you guys. And I thought, it'd just be a nice little way to mix things up. And yeah, so we had a nice conversation, and she goes into it talking about, her experience as a Beachbody coach, and she is now actually doing her certifications to become a real coach. So I thought that she would be a really fun person to talk to, and we would learn some things about, being a Beachbody coach versus being a real certified coach. So she's gonna share her story, and we actually got together and recorded this a little while ago, like a month ago or something. It's been crazy busy, so I'm excited to be getting it out, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So, hi guys, I am here with Lily. We were both Beachbody coaches, not on the same team or anything. We met in the ex-Beachbody coach community, but I thought it would be such a fun idea to have you on here, Lily, so you could kind of share your story because I know you were a Beachbody, coach, and now you're actually getting your certifications to be a real coach, and I just wanted to, know about the differences of those worlds and like what you've learned. And also, YouTube people, I apologize if sometimes I'm kind of looking down. It's because I'm filming on my camera and have the computer down here and I'm looking at Lily. So yeah, go ahead, take it away.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, guys. My name is Lily. You're probably going to see my dog back there, my cat, just giving you guys a heads up.
I love them.
And yes, like Solana just mentioned, I was a Beachbody coach for 2 years as a coach and 1 year as a customer. So I'm going to give you guys a rundown on how I started and what really got me into becoming a coach, and kind of like my journey now that I'm out of Beachbody, and kind of like the recovery path from leaving Beachbody, because a lot of people don't think that affects people, but it really does. So
oh yeah, it really does. I think that's kind of like, that's why I like hearing from actual former Beachbody, coaches, and let's be honest, we're distributors. I like hearing from actual people that went through it, and you guys being able to tell your story, because I think that there's going to be people out here that resonate with that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You probably think you're the only one, but it's like, no, even us, we've been going back and forth. Like, do you remember this? Like, does this trigger you? Like,
Yeah,
all these
exactly.
and you're like, oh my God, I can totally relate. So I'm very, very thankful for that anti-MLM community. And I'm going to give you guys the rundown on my story, but just a startup, I started back in 2017. It's been a while. Kind of hurts to say that because it wasted so much time. But 2017, I actually live in Dallas, Texas. And at that time I was engaged, and my husband was moving to, then fiance was moving to Michigan. We were doing long distance. And then I ended up moving to Michigan. And as you guys know, like if you live in Michigan, you know that it's cold, and if you live in Texas, it's like the weather here is so bipolar. Like we never get nothing under like 50 degrees. Every once in a while, but no -4 degrees like in Michigan. So for starters, like it was very scary to move to a different state. It was a lot smaller than Texas, but definitely weather was different. We were moving to an area that was very away from the city, and I always lived near the city. So that kind of just changed completely the way I, socialized and everything. Here I was with my best friend, but now fiance, in a different state, kind of starting our lives together, having no friends, nobody to be there for us, but just the two of us. So it was very, very hard.
Oh my gosh, I can resonate so much with that because like I was in the same like long distance relationship.
Yep.
I was in the I was about to move from Canada like down to the States, and like You know, I get it. You know, that's funny because it really, such a vulnerable place to be in, and that's such a huge target market for MLMs, as we.
Yes, absolutely. And I was there 2017, from 2016 to 17. That's when it was a transition of moving. And because I was already kind of an active person, but I was never I always had personal trainers, or even went to the gym by myself. And I was really into kickboxing and all these things. And I was super active here in Dallas. And then when I moved over there, it was a whole new, different everything. And even the weather, like I didn't see the sun for months. And I
Welcome to the North.
I was like, what is going on? Why is the sun not out? Like, what is going on? So I easily gained about 25 pounds, and I've never experienced anything like it. I did suffer a little bit from just being away from my family, not necessarily depression, but just being away from my family, the weather being different. It's just a huge change. And even though I was happy to be with my partner in a new place and starting, our life, it was very hard to be away from family. And that's when I started doing research on Facebook, and I came across one of my friends from high school who was actually really into curly hair, and I was transitioning to embracing my curly hair at that time as well, kind of back and forth. I wasn't fully committed to the curly hair method and all that, and I'm sure that doesn't mean anything to you.
Okay, I like it.
But it's a whole different story with that. So I started looking through things, and I came across a girl I used to go to school with. And then through her page, I came across my, at this point, future coach. And she was going through an amazing transformation with, I don't know if you remember Shift Shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she was going through a transformation. I didn't really know what Beachbody was at that point. I heard of P90X, and my husband now, he has videos from that back in the day that he used to do that, but I didn't know there was such thing as in online fitness, like boot camps and stuff like that. So I was very naive to the whole thing. And I started looking at her page, and I noticed that she was working out from home, and I thought that was perfect because I was, I will only go to work and come home and socialize here and there, but I wanted something that made me feel comfortable at home. And that's kind of how I discovered Beachbody then. So my coach didn't reach out to me. I reached out to her. She was looking for people to join her 5-day boot camp, and it was free. I remember back in the day, they really went into the free boot camps. And I joined, I gave out my information, I joined, and that first week that I joined, I lost 5 pounds, and I was very motivated and inspired. But then it came the message, from my coach at that time, future coach at that time. And she's like, I have this new boot camp coming up. You should totally join us, blah, 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 the whole thing. But then I wasn't sure. There was something inside me that was not right.
There's always that little bit of skepticism. Every former coach or distributor, any MLM that I've ever spoken to, often there is that point of skepticism, because I was the same way. I was actually almost recruited to 2 other MLMs, but I was like, no, I don't believe in that. And then for some reason, this one stuck. But there was still that skepticism. And it's so interesting to me how so many people feel the skepticism and
don't listen to it.
Right. And it's but the fact that it's there almost every time, it's just, go ahead. Anyways,
yes, no, it was right there to the point that I blocked this person for, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 months, because at that point it was January, and I ended up joining. So I blocked her, and because I felt like something was off. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but something didn't feel right. Whenever I blocked her, and I completely forgot about it. And then that eagerness to lose weight came back, and my fiance at that time, booked us a trip to Puerto Rico. It was our first trip together, and obviously I was overweight. I feel confident of my body, and that's kind of what pushed me to reach out again.
Wow.
So I unblocked her and reached out again, and that's kind of when I started my fitness journey. I was a customer. She offered to join as a coach, and I said no. She recommended for me to get the Shakeology like every month, and I said no, like you can keep the shakes, like I'm not into it. I knew that was not something that I liked, because even my personal trainers never recommended that. So I knew that, but at the same time, it came with the challenge pack. So what was I gonna do? Throw it away? It was $160,
Just try it, and if you don't like it, you can cancel it. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And sure enough, I got the challenge pack. I joined the boot camp, and that part of everything was very great for me. Mentally, physically, got me to where, like, not necessarily where I wanted to be, but I lost weight. I became more active, and that did help me at that time.
Right.
But there was that thing where they always threw the coach opportunity at you, and you're like up in the air wondering, should I do it or not? Like, how is this going to benefit my life? And I think there was a point where I was just like doing so well that she kept shouting me out all over social media and my results.
Love bombing.
Yeah.
Classic love bombing.
Yeah, like, you're doing so great. You're hitting your goals. Look at this person, look at Lily. She's lost all this weight. So the love bombing was definitely there. And I don't really know how I ended up being a coach, but I ended up being a coach.
Well, you know what? That's how they tell us to recruit, right? Like they say, talk to the people that are your customers, and then you can recruit them into coaching. It's easier to recruit someone into coaching when they've already been working and like getting results, because you're getting the results. So you're like, oh, well, I got results, so I can share this opportunity. And that's why I think, to be honest, like most coaches don't join because they think they're being like, most coaches aren't joining because they're trying to scam people. Most people that are joining is because they're, they are seeing results because of the restriction that the meal plans place, like 1,200 calories. Hello. Of course you're going to see, like, you're going to lose weight. And that's a whole, like, those people are joining because they genuinely, I think the majority of people just want to help other people, be like, oh, look, I can do it too. And I think that's why, like, again, it's not like I've never said I'm against the coaches. I'm against the business model that is what is scamming them.
I remember, like, I think when I became a coach was December of 2017. And I remember telling my husband, like, at that time I had a great job. I didn't love my job, and I think that's kind of what pushed me. I was making great money, but I didn't love my job in general. So I was like, well, I can do this. Like, I can totally do it. And my husband was like, it sounds like a scam to me, babe, but hey, like, you do you. Like, he's always been like that type of person that, he's like, if you think that's a great idea, like, great, do it and find out on your own. He never tells me.
I had same experience here. It's like, I support you. It's probably a scam, but I support you. It's like, well, thanks.
Yeah, it's like, and you're loving the way you look and everything. So whatever, do whatever you want. I'll be here for you, And you guys, like, I did lose weight. I lost like 25 pounds within that same year, which is kind of crazy looking back, because I went from like looking like a healthy person to like a very unhealthy person by the end of the year. But hey, I was feeling myself. So I was like, I look great. And now I look back and I'm like, girl, like,
yeah, that's also a common theme that I hear from people that have gotten out, or like, wow, I was like too small. Like, it was like too much. Like, all of our bodies are different, clearly, so no judgment on anybody for their body.
Absolutely,
definitely it's a common theme that I've heard from ex-coaches of like, No, I felt like looking back now at those photos, like that was also not healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole replacing, a meal with a shake or even use it as a snack is a way for you to take away your hunger in some way. And now looking back, the way I was eating was very, like, it was, I guess, healthy, but the portions were just so small. Like, I remember, like, the first year, I would like text my coach and be like, I'm really hungry by the end of the night. And she'll be like, drink water and broccoli, you'll be fine. And
Oh no.
okay, like, what do I know? And that's how I kind of went through it. And that first year, I will say I stuck to the program, the portion control 100%. But then, while I was continuing to be on the programs, I didn't eat 100% like it because it was just not enough food for me.
No, yeah.
I don't think I don't know how to say, like, I don't think it was me knowing exactly, but I knew my body like was hungry, because then I would look for other foods at the end of the night or whatever. But I was still continuing to lose weight, which is kind of crazy now looking back. And I have a story for you of why I left Beachbody, because
Yeah. Well, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about is like kind of like what was the driver for you to decide, okay, I'm done with this, and yeah, why you left, and also like what you're doing now with actually getting certified as a personal trainer, correct?
yes.
And
So
and like what you've learned, and is Beachbody actually very harmful? Like I want to know, because now you have the knowledge and you're getting the education, so it'd be interesting to know, like, is Beachbody, is that healthy or is it harmful, and what is your take on that?
so to me, looking back at how I was eating prior to in my first year of joining Beachbody to how I'm eating now, my relationship with food is a lot different. I have a binging issue. I wouldn't consider it disorder yet because I haven't been, haven't gone to an actual specialist and told me you have a binging disorder. But I do have that issue where if I'm stressed, I eat too much. If I'm sad, I'll eat. Whatever emotion, I'll eat my heart away, And I think that with Beachbody, I just became worse, especially after leaving Beachbody. And just to give you a rundown from, like, after I became a coach, those 2 years I was a coach, maybe that could be a whole different story. We can go into another video about that.
Yeah.
Alone is a whole different tactic, a whole different journey. But what really got me to leave, and we can kind of go into now, into what I think and everything, is that in 2020, in January, I was starting to do my next program. And I started to have some health issues to where I was starting to develop stomach pain and discomfort. And my period was off and on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it wasn't, at that point, wasn't much of a concern because I'm like, it is what it is, might be something else or whatever. And I ended up going to the doctor, and he asked me like what I was doing. I told him I was very active, I ate healthy and all this stuff. And he said, well, let's get you off all of that and let's see how your body does. Stop drinking those shakes, stop eating at that calorie intake of 1,500 calories. And then let's see how your body does. Let's just see. And sure enough, my body went back to normal.
Just needed some food.
Yeah, my body needed food. And I think all the damage that I did within those 3 years just kind of catch up to me.
Yeah.
It catch up to me in a way that was affecting my body. And then that's when I started, and I was a coach at that point. And that's when I started realizing, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this coaching thing anymore, because I can't lie to people and pretend that this shake is magical and that these meal plans are great, because I just tested this on myself. Like, this is not okay. Um,
And I
and
mean, if your doctor is telling you it's not okay, I would trust the doctor over the coach,
yeah,
you know, the coach as they like to call them.
absolutely. Yeah, I knew something was off, and that's just kind of what the thing that helped me. But then I went from that to not being able to sleep at night because I started thinking about, all the calls that we had when the pandemic was starting. And the CEO and everybody will get on the calls and, the morning wake up call and all that. And they're like, this is your time to just get everybody to join, because everybody's at home and they need this exercise. They need this business opportunity. And that's when I started really thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, it was just like from one day to another when I realized that I was like, okay, I was starting to do numbers. And I was like, okay, so if I give this business opportunity to someone, they're going to have to come out of pocket $160. But what about if they don't have a job? Because
Right.
people are losing their jobs right now. So how is this a great opportunity when they have to put money to start the
It's
business?
like, how is that ethical? And
Yeah,
I
like,
say that because I felt that, you know what, you're saying exactly how I felt. I felt the exact same way. And it was also one of the catalysts on why I left. And like, it's something that the fact that you say that, it's like, if you go back and watch like my original videos on here, like that's exactly how I felt as well. It was like, why are you trying to make people pay money right now when they're losing their jobs? Like, I get it. Health is very important, but like, can you not give free resources to people, or like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Like, this is right now is not a great time for people to spend money to make money. Like, it's never a good time. But to me, it's just because of pandemic and everything was happening, people were dying, like we didn't know everything was so we didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, this just does not sound like a good investment right now. And from there, I started like thinking about everything and realized that nobody was really standing up and saying something like, hey, like let's do this instead or whatever. It was just, this is your time, like take advantage of it or blah blah blah. And I just did not feel comfortable
Mm.
doing that. And from there I started like not being able to sleep at night, thinking about my team at that time, which it wasn't a big team to begin with, but I really care for these people and I still do. And I'm like, how am I going to tell them that how am I going to tell them that I just had this issue and that now I don't feel like this is ethical anymore? I don't think this is something I no longer like want to do, and that was very hard. I think that was the hardest part for me because I would tell my husband, I'm leaving. I want to leave Beachbody. I don't feel comfortable anymore. I don't feel like this is a time that to take advantage of people, because that's really how I felt. It felt like they were telling me, take advantage of these people that are home right now
Yeah.
and present them with this business opportunity, and the workouts. And at the workout was not an issue for me at that point because obviously I wasn't working for my certification at that time.
Right.
But now looking back, I'm like, yeah, the workouts are also not a really great idea because
I've heard that some of them are pretty dangerous. Like, I don't have
yeah,
any background in understanding like the way the body works or anything, but from my personal experience, it messed up my knee. Like my knee,
yeah,
I've never had problems, and then I did one of their programs with so much jumping and like very high impact, and I just like my knee has been in pain ever since.
yeah. No, I remember. I even talked to other people who left Beachbody, and they always say that their knees always hurt, and my knees always hurt too. And now that I do my own workouts, and I'm learning how to work out my own body, my knees no longer hurt. The intensity, it wasn't as crazy as Beachbody because I think that's the thing. Some other exercises are so intense that not a normal, like if you're a beginner,
Hmm.
it's so easy for you to give up because it's like it's so hard. It's not for somebody that's just starting out. And also they don't take in consideration people's age, weight, the way they their everyday lifestyle. if they're a female or a male. Like, I don't feel like they take much in consideration when it comes to that. And if people already have injuries, like, how can you help them exercise better? Because if I do a squat and there's somebody that has back problems or knee problems, and they're trying to do the same thing with a 50-pound, dumbbell, it's like they can't do that. They have they have injuries, so I think there's a lot of that. Like, their programs could be great if that's what they will focus on, I feel like, and will do programs for a specific clientele. But I feel like they just kind of do a whole program and throw it out there, and whoever can do it, and whoever can't, then you just don't follow in there. And they do have a person obviously doing modifications and all that, but even then I feel like it's not enough for people that are looking to have a specific, like, unique exercise for them. I don't know. That's why I feel like it's important just to hire a personal trainer or somebody that helps you based on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you, is like, Beachbody is very, anyone, like they say, anyone can do it. But how important is it to get a personal trainer to, like, because my assumption, I've actually never worked with one, but my understanding is they work with you to find what your goals are, and your body, and who you are, and your lifestyle, right? Like, it's not just like, do the workout. Like, you really work with your client to find something for them specifically, correct?
Yes. And even like, if you see a coach on social media saying, I got 50 spots for you to join my boot camp, these people think they're getting one-on-one training, but they're not.
Right.
So even when it comes to that, it's like, okay, let's say that they had their platform where they had exercises, and they have a coach that is helping them. But if you have 50 people in your boot camp, it's impossible for you to help every single one of those people.
Yeah.
It's like, it's impossible because everybody has different needs. And I think that's another thing that people don't take in consideration when it comes to doing this kind of workouts. Yeah. It's like you're kind of like on your own in a way. The only thing you get is the community. Yes, you get the community, but it's not one-on-one services to you,
No, not at all.
It
only feels like it really gets one-on-one when you become a coach and you start hitting weights.
Yes. And
that's when you'll start. Yeah. That's when you get one-on-one services. It's like you sign, clients, like, as much as we want to think we're helping people, like, because that's what was my motivation in Beachbody as well. But there was no way I could work one-on-one with every client. I couldn't even tell them. Like, I would have them, what's the best program for me? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not certified. Like, I just bought a package. And I bought some shakes,
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, even the people that are coaches, like, even on the top, they don't know really what they're doing. Like, I don't think they ever opened up a book about exercise, exercise science or kinesiology or anything, like, honestly. And I mean, I never did either, but now that I'm learning, I'm like, there's so many, I should have just saved my time.
How long has your certification been taking you? Just perspective,
So it depends on your background. A lot of people that already have, background in kinesiology or exercise science or science overall, they can do it very fast within few months. But it's taking me 6 to 9 months at this point, just because of health issues. As you know, I had COVID, and then that took a huge toll on my body, mind, and soul. And then I just got out another surgery. So it's just been very hard for me to just complete this thing. It's always like everywhere I go, I have my packages everywhere studying, but I think it's just now taking everything I'm learning into to actually doing it and continuing to learn more. Because even though you're certified, like, once you get certified, I feel like it's like the same thing about getting your license to drive. Just because you have a license doesn't mean you're a great trainer. You have to continue building your building everything, like learning, continue to learn, because everybody's so different.
Right.
So for me, like, this certification is just the beginning to kind of put my foot into the fitness industry and then learning from there.
Yeah.
Because
But
it's
I mean,
not,
that's important. No, and I like what you say, because you constantly can be learning and getting better at whatever we do, right?
yeah,
So, but I think getting certified is so important, and especially because like clearly you have a passion for this, and like fitness has always been a part of your life. And I mean, like getting certified and being professional, now you will be able to actually work and help people one on one. And like maybe it's just a couple people at first or whatever, and
right.
you learn as you go, but you're going to have knowledge that you can help, like
People
actually help people, you know. And
actually help people.
I
Yeah,
think
because
I think what's important about your story, like for me, is you are showing people that there's life after the MLM. Like if you love fitness and you have a passion for that and you want to pursue that, there are ways to do it in a more legitimate way when you can actually really be helpful to people that want to embark on their fitness journey, and you don't have to do it through an MLM.
right, absolutely not. It saves you so much money. If I would have saved the money I spend on my every month PV, I would have paid my certification in like 3 months,
Wow.
or more, more like
Yeah.
5 months. But yeah, definitely just go for it if that's what you want to learn. Certification is something that cannot be taken away from you. You can build your own thing online. You can go into an actual gym. Like, there's so many different ways that you can help people, and you can specialize in particular exercise to special population, people with disabilities or different things, whatever your passion is. And that's kind of like where I'm at now, trying to figure that out. Like, okay, where do I want to jump in? Because weight loss was kind of like the thing I did with Beachbody, and it's like, now it's in my brain and it's really hard to redo all those things.
Mhm.
And now with the certifications, like, I'm learning to undo all the things that I learned from doing Beachbody. So I will figure it out, but all I know is that there is a life after leaving Beachbody and leaving any kind of MLM. I think that it is hard at the beginning, because you're kind of disappointing a lot of people. Like for me, I was disappointing my team at that time, my upline, everybody else that was in the team. But at the same time, you have to think for yourself too, like what's going to make you happy and what's going to make you feel like you're making an actual difference. And to me, I feel like my reputation has always been the thing that I'm like, take care of all the time. And after leaving, that was very hard for me, because I'm like, what is people going to think of me?
Yeah,
you
that
know?
makes sense. I mean, because the community aspect is like pushed in your face every day, and like
Yeah,
going to like 25 Zoom workshops or whatever a day. It's like a lot. And it's hard when that's been your whole life,
yeah,
essentially. Like
that's
we were
all you
in,
know.
right. Yeah. And we were in Beachbody, I think, for the same amount of time. And having that go from being like everything you're doing, like all day, like shoved in your throat, to like what next, it is hard to get out. But I think that what you said is so important, of like, it's okay. Like it will take
Right.
time to kind of deprogram and to get through it, but like that's fine. But there are people on the other side that we've been there. Like this is why I started this channel, and I started speaking to other people, especially that have been in MLMs, because we're real people. You know what I mean? And we are
Right.
here, and we will support anybody who wants to get out of their MLM or has just gotten out. Like, you are not alone in this at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I think that first step is to acknowledging like why you're leaving. I think that's very important. So you know that you have a clear understanding why you're leaving, and then making that step to leave, and then take your time to get your life back together. Because for me, I became super addicted to social media. Like, you have no idea. Like, I would be like this all day. And when I left, I couldn't put the phone down. Even though I knew nobody cared for me, nobody was asking where I was at or joining a boot camp or a challenge pack, I was always on my phone, and that took me forever to detach myself from the phone, because a lot of people think, you know, being a coach is a freedom and you can work from anywhere, but in reality, like, at least for me, I was working 24/7. I don't think I've ever worked this hard in my life.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I totally hear that. Like it's really what you're saying is 100% accurate. It's all about time freedom, except you have to have your phone on you all the
All
time.
the
And like,
time.
you see stories of people like in the most personal family situations still
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to work on their phones, and that to me is like, no, this is really problematic. And
Yeah.
even like when I was a Beachbody coach, just to give some anecdotal stuff and then I'll wind it down, but like when my cat was sick the first time, a couple I guess a year and a half, whatever, 2 summers ago, I was in Beachbody, and like I was dealing with bringing my cat to the vet, and like I had to spend a lot of money trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And like there was still a part of me that felt like I should be working. Now I wasn't really working because I'm not the kind of person that can handle working and like going through this like extreme emotional
Yeah.
situation.
No.
Um
Yeah.
but there was a part of me that felt guilty for not working. I was like, why am I guilty? My cat is sick. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So the fact that that's even a thought in your brain, or like anything like that, like if you're going through something, you have to go through it. You don't have to work through it. You know what I mean? Like work on
Right.
your MLM through it is what I mean. And
Yeah. No, it takes a lot of your life and time. I remember with my husband, like, we'll try to have date nights, and date night, like, we had calls every Tuesday, and Tuesdays were the only day we can have date night. And sometimes I'll not show up to calls, and they'll be like, you know, my husband will be like, where you at? Like, what's up? Like, and I'll be like, it's my date night with my husband. Like, I have to have a life too, you know. And it was just a lot of stress, I think. And, you know, when you're going through it, I don't think you do realize it, but you have this in, like, in your head that everything's worth it. Like, it's totally worth it, because that's what you hear from uplines
it'll
and
pay off.
from the top. It will pay off, you know. Going to sleep at 2 a.m. and getting up at 5 a.m., girl, it's going to pay off. You know, you're going to be in the top 10 and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I was exhausted. It was not healthy. Going to sleep
No,
at, you know, working all day and going to sleep at 2 and then getting up at 5 a.m. is not healthy.
no. And
And working out.
yeah, it's really like once you come out and you kind of deprogram, you start to see the unhealthy patterns. And it's just I'm so appreciative that you're on here talking about your story, because again, I think it's really important for us to share these things for people and like have those platforms. And that's what the anti-MLM community was for me. Like when I was getting out, I didn't know what to do, and I found a former teammate of mine who had gotten out. She started doing anti-MLM content, Megan, and I was like, oh, and I started watching her videos, and then through that I found like Deanna and Margaret and like all these people, and I started like watching, like I was binge watching, and I was like, oh my gosh, we all have the similar
Same.
experiences of how we're feeling. And that's why I think it's so important for us that if we are able to share a story, we should. And that's why I'm so appreciative that you wanted to do this. And like, we've been talking about doing this for a long time, but I'm glad that
Yeah.
we actually have the moment to do it,
It's
because
almost been like a year, I think, because I left in May and I was like, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready.
yeah, it takes time. It's fine. Like, it's good. And I've been off my game here because, you know, life happens. Like, it's fine. But I'm just like so thankful that you wanted to come on here and share your story. And also, like, I want you to kind of just let everyone know where they can find you, like if you're on Instagram or what your deal is. And
Yes, absolutely. So you guys can find me on Instagram. That's the only platform I have right now, because I do have Facebook, but I don't use it. So on Instagram, it's going to be Lily underscore Fitway. Let me make sure, because I don't remember.
I'll add the
Um,
writing down here
yes,
so that they can
Lily's
see it.
underscore Fitway. Yes, you
Okay.
guys can find me there. And, you know, I'm slowly trying to give myself back to my normal self, since I'm going through so much with my body and mind and everything. So I haven't been posting a lot on there, just on my stories every day. You see my cats and my dog, my cat and my dog, and, you know, a little bit of fitness here and there, and a little bit of curls there. So if you're a curly girl, you can definitely find me on there. I do a lot of those videos. But I hope that I slowly get back to my groove and start putting some content out there. So
it's all a process, you know, it's all a
yeah.
process. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you guys for listening to Lily's
Yes.
story. And, you know, maybe we can do this again sometime, but I'm really wanting to do this kind of segment here on my YouTube where I speak to real people in real time about their story, because I love reading people's stories, but I also think that if
Right.
someone's willing to come on here and talk about it, that is so valuable, because you have a really valuable perspective, a valuable experience. And so thank you.
Thank you for having me, and I'm so grateful to find you through here, through Instagram and through your videos and everything. So thank you for having me.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed hearing Lily's story, and I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to please subscribe, leave a comment, like, share, whatever. Your support means everything to me, and I am excited to see you guys soon for the next video. Bye, guys.